Good afternoon. Buenos dias. How do we say good afternoon in Filipino, Charmy?
Magandang hapon. It's very long.
Oh my, okay. Sorry, I'm not gonna try. I know salamat and I don't even say it well, but anyway, welcome, Charmy. So today we're live again, the Virtual Advantage live show, and we're talking about the importance of having a team. And that's a discussion Charmy and I have been having for a few weeks now.
Yes.
And yeah, for those that were in attendance last night, we had a great webinar, awesome group, and we shared our number one mistake. Can we say it today now that the webinar's passed, Charmy?
I think so. I think we can share now.
So, what was your number one mistake for when hiring VAs and starting out in like real estate investing and entrepreneurship?
I think this was one of my biggest mistake is that I did everything on my own. I was waiting for my sales to be a certain point before hiring a team, and I could have done it the other way. I think like having a team actually grows your business a lot faster. So and you actually save a lot more time. So in retrospect, I would have done it differently. Like I would have actually focused on like really finding a great team to work alongside with me. That would have been less headaches for me, and also my business would have grown a lot faster. And I think that's why we're talking about having the team. I think like especially I came from corporate and becoming from employee to having my business, and then you're like, didn't I just want freedom? And all of a sudden, I'm like, I was working 40 hours, now I'm working 60. Like, what is this? I'm like, is this like a big mistake I just did? And it was because honestly, I didn't think like, I should actually have a team right away. Like if once you're ready, have that team set up and think of it as an investment. It's a long-term investment. You're there to really foster their growth as well, and actually let them know that they're part of your team so that they build your business with you.
And that's the key to success, really, is having that team early on because it's really hard to claw back and change habits. Let's say you're used to doing things on your own a certain way, then you kind of take on some bad habits, which I have many. Thankfully, you can't see my desk, but it's covered in all kinds of stuff. And if I had a physical team, they would say, clean this up. It's crazy. You can't work like that. So it's the same for like your bookkeeping, for your social media as well, consistency. Before coming on air here, Charmy, I'm going to use you as a case study. I apologize. But you've launched a Facebook group and you mentioned, oh, I invited some people. And then you get busy and you think of
Yes.
other things, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a reflection on you. Your focus is on something else. You're not an expert at Facebook groups. Same for me, like bookkeeping, that's not my expertise, or focusing, that's not my expertise. So, like, you have to think about your strengths, and there's a lot of research on this as well. You should actually work on your strengths. A lot of people focus on their weaknesses and try to improve things, but really the chances and the effort you're going to put in to try and get better at certain things, like learning a language. Let's say you've always wanted to learn another language, but it's going to take a lot of work.
Yeah.
While if you're already strong in something and then you add fuel to that fire with a team that supports you where you're weak, then you're going to explode. Your business is going to grow and scale, and you're going to see some revenue much faster as well. So I've shared with you as well, Charmy. I tend to be a cheapskate sometimes. I want to cut corners. Let's use the free thing, and then it becomes a lot more work because it doesn't send reminders or whatever I'm using. There's things lacking. So yeah,
That's
that's
true. Yeah, there's an investment part of it, and I think that's important when you're starting a business and to actually know where you should invest things. Because that's I
yeah.
think that's another challenge as when we start our own business, like where does it move the needle, right? Where do you invest first? And like for me, like if you ask me, and I think Francois you would agree, definitely the first thing is marketing because the clients need to know what you're doing. You need to have yourself out there, and that's why social media consistency is important. Nowadays, it's like it's so important being out there. And it's not my strong point, I can tell you, social media. And that's why my Facebook group, which I created a few months ago, I still have to have that consistency. And I'm going to be delegating that to my VA because obviously it's not my strong point. So,
Well, that's it. I mean, give. Let's say you think you can do it. Okay, let's try it. If you think
right.
you can do it, put it on your list and try it. But after a few weeks, if you haven't done it, I'm really sorry, it's not going to happen. So find somebody to do it because you need it. And what's the outcome and how much time will this person spend? I shared with you, Charmy, from my Facebook groups. I have several of them now in different languages, two different countries, different focuses. And I spend 5 minutes every day, Monday to Friday. It's my strategy, but I could delegate that to someone, and I'd like to delegate that. I'm getting there. But I actually kind of enjoy it. I want to go in and see, okay, did this person join? I asked them and I was really hoping they would join. So I have a vested interest. But if yeah, if it's just to grow and scale, then maybe you don't care as much, or you can go in and have a look. So that really
Yeah.
helps to have
And you're very
that.
good, like Francois. Like I'm very lucky, and I think this is why business partnership works very well because our strengths are quite different. Like Francois is amazing in social media, and he's so consistent. Like Francois, like I see him every day so consistently doing. Like he's visible out there, and he enjoys it. If you enjoy it, definitely like continue. It's one of your strengths. But definitely like stuff like bookkeeping, I think it's none of our strengths, mine or Francois. I think most
No.
people, it's not a strength for most people. I even know accountants that don't like bookkeeping, so imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not like the accountants, they strategize. They
That's
use
it.
what the bookkeeper put together, its reports, and then they see, okay, this could be reallocated there. This would be more efficient here. It's more tax efficiency. And they're actually creative. A lot of people think accountants can be boring. So if there's an accountant watching this, they might be like, "Oh, you're bad." But some are very creative and they'll find ways, legal ways, of course, but they know the
Yes.
law, tax laws, tax regimes. And then the bookkeeper needs to just enter the information. They don't think about optimizing your taxes. They may know, but I mean that's not really their role. It's kind of data entry, making sure it's clean, book reconciliations, things like that.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, Charmy. Marketing is really good because it opens the door to clients. Then you have income. And then once you have that income, you can grow on other things. Unless you're like me, I like marketing. So for me, it's easy. It's the other stuff I need help with.
Yeah, and like Francois said, I think really focus on your strengths. I mean, we all have weaknesses, like you have to, and you have to know what your weaknesses are. I think sometimes we think we're not so bad at something until someone else does it so much better.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I was pretty bad at that task, and like this is what's nice with the team that's very skilled and that they know what they're doing. You realize how much faster and how much better they can do the job compared to what you've been doing.
And it's even good for yourself as a business owner. So I'm going to share some insider information again. I can't keep secrets, Charmy. So if you have a secret, don't say anything. I'm the worst. But so we actually instituted Wellness Wednesday or Wednesday Wellness. I'll mess it up every week, but so right now I'm in charge of it. I love that stuff. As you can tell, today was gratitude, and it started something. Everybody's sending kind words to each other. And let's say you're a solopreneur or you have a small business, sometimes it can get lonely as well. So there's the business side, but then there's the people side as well. So it was quite fun to read the comments from our VAs about gratitude and what they enjoy about us and what we enjoy about them. And it kind of, for me anyway, this morning was kind of therapeutic because I had some issues again starting at 6 a.m. with some payments and anyway in Dubai, and I'm like, oh, this day anyway. And then I have these gratitude moments for our team, and it was just really amazing, and it put me back into my mojo, and now we're able to have this show.
Right. Yeah, and I found it the same way. Like Francois, like when I started as an entrepreneur and I was by myself, and it's an entrepreneur. It's a different type of character. I find you really need to be motivated, and you actually need to be very resilient because there's a lot of things that's gonna come be thrown at your way. It's not
Yeah.
like there's a textbook you can follow, and you need to have that resilience. But at some point, you're human as well, right? You can only take so much stress on your shoulder, and like having a team, and that's why I love having our team. Like yeah, Francois was saying, there's some days I'm really tired because I've just like solved I don't know how many different things going on in my buildings. Because that it always happens the same day, Francois. If you're a real estate
Always.
investor, I don't know, like there's a month it's super quiet, you're like it's awesome, and then one
Yes.
day everything breaks. Like
Yeah,
it's all
toilets and then personal life as well, like dealing with illness
that's
and the
it.
kids and everything falls apart and you're like, "Ah, can anything work for me today?" And then you have your team and they send you the books and everything's nice and organized. Okay,
That's
one good
it.
thing. What else can I find?
Yeah, and then and you're not so much the only person working in the business. And this is what I love is that now we're setting up all these systems and processes. So if for some reason Francois and I can't be there that day, they know what to do. Like we don't have to be always there in the business. And I find that's a challenge when you're doing everything by yourself. There's this like weight of responsibility that even when you go on vacation, you're always thinking of your business because you're
Yeah,
the business. There's no team helping you if something happens to you, the business stops. So definitely something to consider. Like people always think, oh, I need to be a certain level to have a team. But no,
no.
once you have the right team, your business will grow so much faster.
Yeah, it's like 10xing Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
10x. Well, maybe we're not gonna 10x right away, but you're gonna bring your game up to the next level for sure. And you
Yeah.
shared something really good at our webinar last night, Charmy, about a real business is a business that can function without you. So Charmy et compagnie, your business for investing, you're in the name, so it's going to be kind of hard, but they could still use your picture and do things. So technically, the business should continue without you at some point. There should be some automation, some systems, some passive income as well. That's something we're looking at as well for Innovate. How can we create some money that comes in while we're sleeping? The Warren Buffett system. So same thing for your business. These VAs can bring in money and they're always working for you. It's like YouTube and social media. It works for you when you're gone. This recording will outlive us probably. So at some point we'll be gone and the
Yeah.
recording will still be on.
Yeah, and for people who are thinking of legacies, for example, like,
Yes.
if you're really serious in your business, like you really need a team because if it's just you, that's a very hard business to move. And imagine like, something happens to you, that's it, that's where the business is, it ends, right? So having that team, you're able to create a business that there'll be a legacy to your children or to, whatever, or you can actually just sell it. It has more value as well.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, and your company builds credit as well. If you have a corporation, that is a good one because I'm currently job free. So personally, and you are too, Charmy. Insider information again, but without a job, it's harder to get loans. But
Yeah.
your corporation, after a number of years, is another person. And then let's say you have bad credit, well, potentially your corporation has good credit, or vice versa. We can actually help each other. But again, you want that team to keep your records accurate. When you go to get a loan, you do need all your information really nice and organized. If not, it's a struggle.
The
So
fun stuff, and they need a lot of information when it's a commercial.
yes.
Yes.
It's a bit
So
tougher, but anyway, it's possible. So don't give up if you've started out. I think it's really worth it. And we're the masters of our own lives, Charmy. So that's why we need to surround ourselves with good people like the team at Innovate, and this
yeah,
can be your
and
team.
for sure, and I think that was one of the reasons why Francois and I really like we need our team. Like if you think of all, it doesn't have to be multi-million dollar level. But if you think of all, Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, like, it's funny because I've done a lot of their courses, Francois, and they always say, "Oh, this is what you need to do." And but you know what? The one thing they have in common, they have a team.
Well,
you
that's it.
know,
Yeah, they
they're
make it
like,
look easy. Of course, I'm gonna
yes,
land with my jet and come down the ladder from the chopper. Yeah, right. Like that's somebody was filming. I can't be doing a selfie and coming down the ladder. And so you need a team. Yeah. And that team
yeah.
can be virtual. So if you're starting out, you can't normally afford in-person staff yet. So virtual is a great way to start. And in this world, I mean, a lot of things can be done online and outsourced. So yeah, makes a big difference.
Exactly. And like you don't have to be that level. Like I think that was the one thing too in my head. I was always thinking, to have a team, you have to be a certain level. But
Yeah.
you actually don't. Like, you just have to have a certain actually you need to know where your business is going. I think that's one thing, because you need to have the right vision for that team to follow you. And that's what, that's another thing that I think sometimes we don't think about. You have to be a great leader to have a great team as well, right? So
Yeah, yeah, you need to be trained and learn the art of delegating, which is not easy to learn. It's something else. So, for those that were in attendance at our webinar, we gave a little gift at the webinar. So, you'll have to attend our next one. We have to choose a date, Charmy. We'll have to
yes.
announce it. But if you attend, you get some great resources that we don't hand out otherwise. And it's really helped investors and entrepreneurs to decide what they can delegate and how to be a good leader, as you mentioned as well. So
Yeah, because it doesn't cut it anymore. Like it was back in the days, it was just you tell people what to do. Now,
no,
forget it. You need to actually lead and inspire
yes,
people. And that's a skill, like any skill, you can learn it, but most people don't learn that. So it's
no,
one thing to, definitely work on. And a lot of people think, I'm going to open my business. I don't need to manage people. But having people skills and having, skills to actually lead and inspire people, it's going to help you in your business.
it's huge. So make sure to check out innovatevacorp.com for more information or join one of our Facebook group as well for some free resources or continue to join us at this lunch hour date every Wednesday where we share some insights. And thank you very much, Charmy. We'll
Yeah,
connect again soon.
sounds good.
Cheers.
Bye.